Yo, how we doing? Yo, yeah. Oh no, bookmap. Previously on Kimba TV. So, to be honest with you, brother, I could see I could see some goofy shit like this, bro. Sweep, clean all this shit, right? Go to like maybe 61 and then poo-poo. You know, or maybe FOMC. How we doing, y'all? All right, any questions? When do markets open? 40 more minutes? We got time to get caffeinated. We got CME up in this bitch. I want to make this smaller to 1. We're also going to put this fucker right there. Lock him. Lock him. Okay. Yeah. Oops. I will move that guy up. 56. Just to have and when they change, I know how it changed. Yeah. Stigmata. Yeah. Shamas is asking, can I enter any trade? Damn. Well, let's start with just knowing where the bad highs and bad lows are, Shamas. So for sure, if there is an opportunity down here to clean out all the bad lows, this would be an interesting long. This has always been an interesting long, so that hasn't changed. If we go back up, okay, so what you need to do, Shamas, the reason why you can't figure out if there's a short or a long, most likely is because you don't have the levels identified. This, in my opinion, there is no 15-second TA to do. If you're wondering, hey, has anything changed? You may not be really understanding what's going on, and that's okay. For me, this is just a continuation off of the movement from Friday. So you can clearly see that that is a poor high with a CME gap, and you have a poor low down here. So if it comes back down here first, before grabbing that, then that's bullish. Pretty straightforward. So you may think about wanting to get into a long here if you see the bullish edge, okay? Don't put blind limits. You need to be able to tell me that this is bullish and the way that it's reacting is bullish. Okay, same thing with up here. You wouldn't want to put blind limits in here, but if you have a reason to short, then these two areas are the easiest places to long and short. You are dead center right now. Okay. If you put a gun to my head and you said, hey, if you had to take a position, what would it be? It would probably be trying to hold this. Trying to hold this. I probably wouldn't want it to make a lower low. If it starts to make lower lows and structure changes, then not only is that up for grabs, but if that doesn't swing fail, then it could go even lower, right? The higher time frame stuff that we talked about that we would need to rotate all the way back up here, we didn't exactly get all the shorts that I wanted trapped down here. Okay, so I wouldn't mind if it wants to do one more. I wouldn't mind that. So you have a couple of levels of interest. If it goes down first, then and it saves all of this, so it saves that gap and it saves that poor high, then that's, you know, that's bullish. So you would be thinking about maybe there or maybe down in the 54s or 52s, but so right there and then right there is your main levels of interest, Shamas. Nothing's really changed. But identifying the level is just half of the work. If you don't know if it looks bullish or not, then don't take a trade. You should learn how to tell if it looks bullish or not. Alrighty, nothing too crazy. You know, it's level to level, right? So we got to here. Okay, so level to level to level. So, and now it lost this. We lost this. So clearly the next level of rotation will be down here. And then if it loses this, then your next level of interest really is down here, but you've got a swing fail and a bad low, poor low down there. Okay. And how crazy is it that we've had these levels for about 2 months now, and it still does shit like that? And it still does shit like that. Okay. Any questions? If you're going to short when there is a CME gap, right when there is a poor high, do that 1,000 times, you're going to lose 800 times. You shorted a poor high when a CME gap got left. You do that 1,000 times, I probably would say you'll lose 800 times. And you did it on a weekend. So it's one of those things where it's like if you juice and you think you did that right, the next time you're going to lose it all. You know, it's one of those things where, oh, yeah, it worked last time. Let me short it again. Go fuck yourself. Or bank. Yeah, but just think about that for a second. You shorted a poor high on CME and a CME gap on a weekend. So if you took it, that's okay, but you do that 1,000 times, 750, 800 times, you're gonna lose. So it is what it is, but that's the thing about this game is that if you don't know what you're doing, eventually it's gonna catch up. It's like the guy that doesn't hit 16 and wins, and so he decides to never hit 16 against a 10. The math is going to catch up eventually. So, but that's okay. I mean, we're all looking at the same shit. You're telling me that you're bummed out that you didn't short the poor high on a CME gap? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Yeah, that's how, like, because then 6 months down the road or 8 months down the road, somebody is going to take that same exact setup and then they're going to be talking about, I don't understand why the short didn't work. So it just comes down to, that's why There is no right or wrong. You know, who am I to say that it was wrong to short because you're making money, right? So it's not a right or wrong. Did you have a high probability trade or did you have a lower probability setup? And you've got to be able to objectively, self-honestly assess what's in front of you. That's why I always say it's not about being in a long or short. It's not about right or wrong. It's all it comes down to is, can you look at what's in front of you and correctly determine if it's a high probability trade or a low probability trade? So that's why the worst thing that can happen in this game is a low probability trade works for you. And you start taking those low probability trades, and then you're wondering, why the fuck am I losing on the higher time frames? You know, I've been doing this for 4 years and I still haven't made any money. What the fuck? Because you're doing net negative ROI trades and you can't figure it out. So you might juice. This is a binary game. It's like a coin flip. It can only go up or down. So even if you do the wrong thing, I'm telling you, you can still make money, right? It's just about managing risk. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit there and be like, I can't believe I missed the poor high short. It might do that on a weekend, but I dare you to take a blind limit short there on a weekday. I dare anybody to take a short there next time, and take that short 100 times and tell me if it works out. But you use that as confluence though. So you know that there is a poor high up there, and you also know that there's a poor low right there. So if it cleans that first, then that would be confluence to try to take. This becomes confluence for that short, and this becomes a confluence for this long. So, alrighty. Schwiggity. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, there really is no right or wrong. We all have to individually, self-honestly, objectively call it as it is. You know what I mean? So, Bugatti. Don't Be Late says, already took a scalp today. Very nice. Well, I hope we can get a live pink. You know what I mean? Whether it's a bearish retest here or there, where it's, you know, getting filled here or filled up here. Yeah, everybody good to go? Bully says, you must live on top of a Whole Foods like me. In New York, yeah, it's not called Whole Foods. It's a bougier version of Whole Foods. It's crazy. Matt, let's go. Glazius, let's go. Gix, 10 binds, Flatter B. Flatter Beast is waiting for the bearish retest. I got you, my boy. Where is it going to happen? Is it going to actually grab the single prints? Is the bearish retest going to happen at $58,089.90? Is it going to be on that blue line? Because that would be Fibonacci, right? Right? Yeah, I mean, what y'all doing out there? How many people got shorts from 60,600? Okay. How many people looking to get into a short? How many people still in their 53 longs? Did somebody long here? I mean, I mean, we got motherfuckers shorting that, so I might as well ask if motherfuckers are longing that. Hey, if you took that short there, okay? If you took that short there, okay, you better not cry to me about, my TPs are, what the fuck, my TP, what the fuck, it didn't sweep. Bitch, it didn't sweep up there. Hello? I missed my short TP. Don't give me that. You took a short with highs up there, fucked up too. Right, Fair Nasty? That's all. I'm just saying. Let's get nasty on them. Our Tarzan says, what do you mean? But fair game though, right? Fair game though, right? Hey, if you took a short up there, okay, you better not be crying to me about, but we didn't sweep that. Well, we didn't sweep that either, ho. Quit playing with me, boy. No, but all jokes aside though, you got to be thinking worst case scenario. So the math is the math. I love you guys, man. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you guys want to talk about? Hey, Blade, you Gucci? I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. Happy Monday, y'all. It is 11 o'clock here, so noon, just about lunchtime in New York. We got about 4 hours and change on S&P market close. So let's do it. Let's do it. What a day, y'all. Yeah. Let's do this, Teosoti. Let's not worry about how many you've lost or how many in a row you've won or lost. Let's just focus on the next trade, okay, Teosoti, and let's try to do our best for that. So do you have any questions on the levels to the downside and levels to the upside where I would think about my next trade? Teosoti, like let's forget my 53 long. Let's just reset everything. Okay. What would be the next long that I would think about? Okay. And what kind of edge would I want? And where's the next short that I would take, Teosoti? What about you? Actually, forget where I would long or short. I want you to tell me what your most interesting level is to the downside and upside. Yeah. I'm becoming less confident and being scared of being wrong. You can't. The only thing I can tell you is you can't do that. So we got to reset. The next trade is the next trade. So Teosoti, the best that I would be able to tell you is 1, forget it. Forget that you've lost 20 in a row. Forget that you're on a losing forget it. None of that matters. Okay? So the best that we can do, brother, is we can discuss the levels of interest to the downside, to the upside. I'm looking at zone between 60.5 and 61 for shorts, and the big zone for the longs I'm watching is between 52.8 and 50.5. Okay, got you. So Teosoti, I love those levels, and remember, you should always stick to what you think is right. Don't ever let me contaminate your thought process, okay? So the first thing that I would say is 60.5, 61 is not a bad level, okay? And I would certainly entertain a swing fail of the poor high on CME. You know, if that's a swing fail or a failed auction, then yeah, I mean, that's an interesting level, right? Teosoti, but to be honest with you, if they're saving this, okay, and if they end up not grabbing this, then in my opinion, I would actually be looking for the CME gap to be filled. Okay, they're going to leave it like that. So I would actually be like, okay, that's actually bullish. You don't clean that. I think it'll go higher than that, because then that becomes too easy. It's one of those things where, brother, I'm trying to learn and get better. And if based off of what I've done before, okay, this swing fail or failed auction, I'm going to get stopped out at break even. Let's see what happens. If they don't grab this, okay, regardless if I take it or not, I think it'll go higher, and we'll see what happens. Okay? I want you to write that down somewhere. I'm not trying to predict the future. This is more of historical probabilities for me. Okay. So if they don't grab that and leave it behind, okay, I don't think I would think about that level anymore. And I would be looking for the CME gap imbalance to get grabbed for the nuke down to 47. Obviously, I don't know if it can even get the fuck back above blue line. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves, okay? But I'm trying to help you out on the higher time frame, Teosoti. And Teosoti, you are one hell of a trader. Do not let my goofy ass contaminate your own thought process and hard work. You understand? Please, 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 please do not let my bullshit override you, okay? So we'll see what happens, Teosoti, but based off of what I've done in the past, because in the past I would take this. And of course the failed auction or the swing fail of that level would look good. This is one of those where like it'll do some shit like this, bro. Like, fuck, round trip. Okay, but just keep that, just write that somewhere. I don't want you to fucking put it on your forehead or anything like that. Just write it down, okay? And if that gets swept, then what I just said is completely off the table, okay? So that's the first thing, okay? So let me go back to what the fuck you just said. I'm looking at zone between 60.5 and 61 for short. So yeah, that's valid, okay? But I want you to think about bing bong ding dong. If they leave that behind, I would still maybe think about shorting that especially if it's a swing fail. But I would be really cautious for it to just find support at previous resistance only to go back up again. Okay, so just stuff for us to keep in mind and keep an eye on. And then you said, and the big zone for the long I'm watching is between 52.8 and 50.5. 52. Okay, got you. So before that, you might have an opportunity to long. So I like that. I like your 52.8 and 50.5 because I would be looking for that level, if not lower, if this was not a long opportunity. So the downside, you're good, but you have to be careful for all of this to get swept. You might want to think about like a failed auction or like you know one of these. Okay. So the downside stuff, I think you're good, Teosoti. The only thing that I would maybe just kind of critique and add is the whole CME gap up top. Okay. Also, you've got a little bit of confluence with S&P as well. So that's your gap on S&P. Okay. So a lot of confluence. We'll have to see what this fucker wants to do. Obviously, Teosoti, you've been through a dozen FOMC. I would assume, Teosoti, you've been through with me at least a dozen, right? So you know that Monday and tomorrow, 2 days before a Fed day like FOMC, what am I going to say next, Teosoti? What am I going to say? As we approach an important day like FOMC or CPI or GDP, what am I going to say next, Teosoti, in regards to what I'm going to be paying attention to more so than Bitcoin? I'm going to be paying attention to S&P and traditional markets just a little bit more. If this goes down, this goes down. If this goes up, this goes up. So that's it. And then instead of trying to scalp or chase something on a smaller time frame today and tomorrow, I think it would be better to prepare and plan for FOMC Wednesday. In my opinion, Teosoti, whatever trade that you take today or tomorrow, if you're not in one already, I think it's basically the position for FOMC, and hopefully you just don't get stopped out until you can get to FOMC. So if you get into a scalp long or if you get into a scalp short today or tomorrow, it's really for FOMC and you're hoping that you don't get stopped out. I wouldn't try to get like scalp individually today, scalp individually tomorrow. You might fuck yourself and get into a short or a long that your subconscious is now starting to prioritize maximizing profits. And so you don't actually take the higher time frame, long or short, that is what you really wanted to take. Grizzly, Crypto Psychic. I hope a big sell the news would be so dope. I mean, I think it would be hilarious if it's a rate cut and the market's nuke. Oh my God. Hella funny. Boy. Have you guys seen like S&P on higher time frame and shit? You guys prepared? Some of y'all ain't done your homework and shit, my boy. You know, this is nice. So, because that's the 2021 high. Do a bullish retest? I mean the 2022 high. January 2022. Bugatti. And give me 47, ho. Quit playing with me. They don't clean this. If they don't clean this first, I would not short this. And I would think that they're going to clean the 61.8 CME gap. But, I mean, even if they sweep this, I mean, first off, that would be Juicy Maguchi. But yeah, like 62, 61.8, something like that. But we don't know when it's going to happen. So if they need to sweep this shit first before going up to 61.8, 62, okay, whatever. You know, so like from here, like let me just draw a big ass circle from here, you know, to like here, you know, and then down. Bugatti. But CME is paused right now, so there will be no point in sweeping it because it's the CME low that we want to clean. But anyways, the most bearish scenario would be that it sweeps without CME, keeps going lower, and it doesn't gap fill when CME resumes back. That would be the most bearish scenario. And then you kind of work your way back from that. All the way up until you end up with, you know, maybe it tries to revisit this zone first before grabbing this. And then obviously getting back into the blue and then would be nice too. But either way, FOMC is 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So there's a couple of factors. One is it'll depend where the price is tomorrow, daily open, daily close. And then obviously Wednesday, FOMC is 2 p.m. It's during the trading day. So it's not one of those where it comes out an hour before pre-market. There is no phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. There's the number that comes out at 2 p.m. and then there's the press conference at 2:30. And you know that Bob motherfucker from CNBC is going to be asking all the bearish questions. So be ready, y'all. Something with Trading says, can you describe bullish scenario after Macaulay? The most bullish would be it doesn't grab and clean all the lows and it goes up. The second bullish would be it cleans that. It's like a swing, fail, fail auction, trident, whatever, 3 drives, whatever, and then we rotate. Yeah, but don't put blind limits on nothing. Yes, sir. But you and I can see it. We've been talking about this blue line since last week, right? As you already know, Macaulay for another 45 minutes. CME is paused, so it wouldn't make sense to sweep right now. So if it wants to deviate all the way up to like TPO point of control, or maybe it just crabs, you know, like 80% chance it's just going to crab. There isn't going to be like a significant gap and Bugatti. Andy says, why is it more bullish if it goes without sweeping the blue line? It's kind of like this is where the price should be. And you say, okay, this is the tolerance and this is the tolerance. And so like value area high, value area low. And you would say anything in between is normal. And then, so the further away that you deviate, the harder the snapback. Kind of like, everything kind of just gets amplified. For that to happen, you're going to have positions that get stopped out or trapped. Okay, Andy? And to actually, now that the markets have closed, Andy, now that the markets have closed, if it does go and do this, it's just bullish now. There is no, if it leaves it behind, it's more bullish. That is actually dead because traditional markets are, US markets are closed now. Yeah, that was a little bit more to do with like 0 days. But now let's see if we can get a 57 sweep, clean that shit. Basically what I was saying, Andy, was that there's probably not enough liquidity to make it worth it to hold this instead of letting it get cleaned. So if this makes, just like how leaving this like this is kind of goofy. Just like how they left this, they let it deviate further. So now if they're going to do this, I would say it'll go past like that. I would be looking at my next level of interest, which would be the CME gap. Hey, you know what would be hella funny? Fuck! Dude. All right. And this is the third not third. This is like the maybe 20th or so FOMC that we've seen together on stream in my 3-year career. So there's always highlights on the YouTube channel, !YouTube. And you can go back. Some FOMCs weren't as volatile. First, some of the FOMCs are immediately volatility right off the get-go. So, all right. We got one more data plan tomorrow. So, but yeah, you excited, Derminator? And I don't want you to get so hyper focused on the FOMC event that you lose sight of the bigger picture. All right. So, but it is going to be exciting. The Friday options expirations should be exciting as well. So, yeah, it's my full rotation week. So Thursday is going to be a short stream. Friday, I'm going to be in Vegas. And then Monday, I'll do an early stream. Tuesday, early short stream. And then Wednesday, I'll be back normal schedule. Thomas says, first big pivot, though, right? What do you mean? Caminati, let's go. Thomas, Mark, Liquidity, Iruzzi, Ludo. I'll see you guys tomorrow. How many of you guys are going to be here pre-market with me? How many of y'all here with me pre-market? I hope Bookmap doesn't do some goofy shit. Love you guys. Hey, Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Tell them what happens if they don't have good risk management. Hey, he said he's going to smack the shit out of you.